Okay, so welcome everybody. This is the foundation of this 5 months to five figures training, and it really is really important. When I drop the replay, I would definitely save it, or at least save the link. It'll be on my YouTube channel as well, and revisit this as often as you want, because it is the most important. This is the foundation of the 5 months to five figures. This is actually a recap of the very first one that I did, so that you can see exactly who I am, why I think and a lot of other people think I'm qualified to do this training. There is obviously a disclaimer in there that this is not by any means typical results. I'm not guaranteeing these results for you. What I'm doing is showing you, if you follow the plan, what is possible and the tools that I use to get to this level and beyond. So with that, I will share my screen and go straight into the presentation. And there we go. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that okay, everybody? Yeah. Okay. So 5 months to five figures. Basically, what I'm going to show you is how to turn $200 into actually just over 10,000 in 5 months. And I'll then go on to show you how we actually increase that a little bit more as well. Because the same rules and the same compounding rules that apply to getting to five figures also apply to getting to six figures and beyond. So it's exactly the same methodology that we use. Who am I? My name is John Oliver. I'm a P1000. You can see by this red arrow down at the bottom here, this is my actual win rate. This is a screenshot of this company that I have a funded trading challenge with, Funded Trading Plus. There's no money. It's not an affiliate plan. You don't have to use them. You can use who you want. This just happens to be who I use, and this is the kind of success rate that I get. That means out of every 10 trades, or let's say out of every 100 trades, I'm winning about 85 of them. So a successful trader will really be winning 7 out of 10. And I'll show you later on how you can actually win with only winning 3 out of 10. So it gives you an idea of what the potential is here. I've been in the Masters Club for well over a year. It comes out every week. I've been on it every single week. It started off as a Masters 100, where you actually had to have 100 consecutive trades, and you needed to win out of that 100. You need to win at least 70 of them. That's how it started, and I got those a few times, but it proved to be so hard for people to get that they dropped it down to the Masters 50 Club. And even that proved so hard to get that they eventually dropped it down to the Masters, just the Masters Club. So I started with 100 trades, and they've got to be consecutive. You have to actually screenshot your trading log from your broker, so you can't manipulate it in any way. They check it. It's got to be consecutive. Could be no breaks. You can't cut and paste it. They verify that, and then they give you the certificate. So then we went down. These are just, as you can see, all the ones. It's just one page of all the ones that I've won over. This is about 6 months worth. There's the other 6 months worth, and I literally win it every week. And I think this one at the top right is the one that I just won this week. On Friday. So anyway, that's who I am. Hopefully I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully you think I do as well, because the more you believe this, the more it's likely to come true, because belief and mindset is the key. A lot of people think it's trading. It's not. So here we go. You got the 10 commandments of trading. I won't go through it. This is one of the things you could pause the video and look at. But the first one is, I shall preserve my capital. What does that mean? It means you don't want to put your money at risk. That's the #1 rule. Okay. And here's where I show you how a risk ratio reward of 1 to 3 means that you can actually lose 7 trades out of 10 and still make a profit. How is that done? Well, if you risk $1 to make $3. If it goes your right way and you make your $3, you've got your $3. If it goes the wrong way, you can only lose the $1. So that's what a risk reward of 1 to 3 means. And so let's take $10 per trade for this example. 3 winning trades, okay, times 3 is $90, okay? So 9 times 10 is $90. 7 losing trades is $70. So you still have a net gain of $20. Okay. However, we do want you to win 7 out of 10. So when we start off with a demo account. And what we want you to do is when you get to a level and you check with your mentor, your coach, go over your trading, make sure you're comfortable with how you trade and the result, you're getting the results that you want. Only then do you move on to a live account or a funded trader account. So until you're successful, that's what the demo account for. You want to make your mistakes on the demo account. You want to practice on the demo account. You want to get comfortable on the demo account before we go forward, okay? But here's a fundamental truth that a lot of people don't tell you when you first start off is it's actually easier to make larger amounts of money trading at a larger account. And what do I mean by that? As traders, when you're getting to that level where you're ready to trade professionally, well, not professionally, but ready to actually move to the next level, we look at a reward rate, a return rate of between 1% and 3% a day. And I'll show you how that compounding. And I've used the lower side of things, the 1% a day, just because it's easier for easy calculations. Again, this is no promises. It's not guaranteed. This is just by way of example. But 1% a day, if you trade 5 days a week, let's say there's 4 weeks in a month, 1% equals 20% a month. So 20% on a $1,000 account is $200. 20% on $10,000 is $2,000. 20% on $100,000 is $20,000 a month. The only difference between these at all is the size of the account that you start with. That's the only difference. Because if it takes you 10 trades to hit your 20%, then it takes 10 trades to hit 200. It takes 10 trades to hit 2,000. It takes 10 trades to hit 20,000. It's the same trades, the same amount of trades. It's just on the larger account that you can do that on, the higher the reward is. And you're still looking at a risk reward of 1 to 3. So you're still trying to preserve your capital as the number one goal. Okay. Trading's the same, risk is the same, everything is the same. Okay. So how do you make over 10,000 in 5 months, starting with just $2,000? Well, you can't do it by putting it into a live account. So the old way of thinking, and a lot of people still do this, and I'll show you how we actually get back to it on the back end, but do it at the back end of our trading instead of the front end of our trading, is when we're ready to trade, usually most people think the next step is to put money in a live account. But most people, they either don't have the money or they're nervous. They're nervous about putting that amount of money in a live account in case they lose it. So usually the live account starts off fairly small. Some people start with only $50. Some people with 100, 200, some people 500 or 1,000. But in this example, I've used 500 or 1,000 into a live account. What I'm proposing is you take 200, which in my belief is on the lower end. If you're serious about learning how to trade, 200 is something you should be looking at to invest once you've gone through the demo account and you're comfortable with your trading style, your trading plan, and your trading results. Then instead of putting a few $100s or maybe $1,000 in a live account, which all of that is at risk, you're only putting $200 into a funded trader account, or some people call it a prop firm. Okay, and it's a challenge. And when you pass that challenge, they will give you a live account to trade on. Okay. And how they do that is they use other people's money to do that. So there's people out there who, when you prove yourself through the challenge to be a successful trader, you then, other people will invest in you and they will take a percentage of your gains, but the rest of the gains come to you. And I'll show you how that works. Okay, so in this case, by example, I'm using $200, actually $199. Sometimes they have specials where they give 20% off, so it's only $150, $160. And they'll give you a $25,000 challenge account on Funded Trading Plus. It's based in London, UK. Like I said, it's not a recommendation, just an example. It's who I use. But there's lots of people out there, and you can do your own research, decide which one you want to go with. Once you pass a challenge, which only involves growing your account by 10%, that's all. And I'll show you what that means. It's like $84 a day, okay, on a $25,000 account. So it's very, very doable. If you're on a $2,000 account and making $8 a day, that's the kind of thing you're looking at. Very, very doable. Okay. So if you pass that challenge by getting 10%, the firm will fund your account with $25,000. So now that's how you have your $25,000 account ready to go. That's how you do it. Anything you make is yours to keep. You can withdraw profits weekly. They do charge a 20% fee. The 20% goes back to the people who are investing in you as a proven successful trader. So what does that mean? Well, let's say you get $5,000 and you want to withdraw that, you can withdraw $4,000 and they keep $1,000 to give to their investors. You might think, well, I'm giving up 20%. That's a lot of money. But realize you only put in $200. You only put in $200. If you make 5,000, you're drawing out 4,000 of that for yourself. Your investment was 200. Your investment was this big, and your profit was this big. Okay, so that's why it's important to think about this as a good step forward for your trading. Okay, and I'll show you how it works now. Here's how much you would make, and I've gone on the higher end of the example. Remember I said most people start with 500, 1,000. I've started with a $1,000 live account. This site here, you can write this down. You can go and see it. It's nothing to do with me. It's an independent site. It's called thecalculatorsite.com. Thecalculatorsite.com. And this little calculator pops up. This is just a screenshot on my phone. I just do it on my phone. And what you want to do is you want to make sure it's on daily compounding. See on the second one, I've outlined it with a red circle. Daily compounding. Okay. I put in here principal amount. The currency is dollars, but you've got any other currency you want here. I put $1,000 in, and I just put that lower 1% interest rate that I discussed earlier, and I'm going to put it for 6 months and include all days of the week. I'm going to put no because typically if you're trading Forex or the indices, you're not going to be trading at the weekend. But if you do trade crypto, you can trade 7 days a week. It's available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. But in our case, I'm just going to do the 5 days a week. It could be 2 days on the weekend for crypto and 3 days during the week, whatever it is. But just by way of example, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you why it's important to be consistent in your trading. The massive, massive difference between 5 days a week trading and 3 days a week trading. So be prepared for that. It's incredible. It'll blow your mind. So we got $1,000, 5 days a week, 1% interest rate, 6 months. Okay, we've got that 5 days here. We're going to hit calculate. And in 5 months on a live account, you would have made, see bottom right-hand corner, you would have made $2,645 in 5 months. Now, to me, that is not really a great amount of money. It's like just over $500 a month. It's actually good money if you think about it, because a lot of people at $500 a month, that's a car payment, that's a couple of grocery bills, that's a bunch of other bills that come in. So $500 a month, believe me, a lot of people, that's the difference between staying afloat and going under financially is that other $500 a month. So it's not to be sneezed at. And that's the old way we teach people, because $500 a month is a significant amount. But I'm going to show you how we, with the same kind of trading, same amount of trading, same risk, same everything, we can make that much bigger than 2,645 in 5 months. We're actually going to go over 10,000 in 6 months. And we're not going to risk $1,000. We're only going to risk $200. So hopefully you see how excited I am about this, and hopefully you're excited too. By any means, if you want to do the live account instead, you want to follow what your coach, your mentor is teaching you, please do that. This is just an alternative way to looking at things that I do. I'm just giving you some other options about how you can get towards a situation where you're trading professionally, either full-time or professionally part-time, but whichever way you want to be trading professionally. Okay, here's how much you would make on a funded account using the same 1%. So again, we're on daily compound, but we've put the principal amount 25,000 with the same 1% interest a day, same 5 days a week. We hit calculate, and now we're at $66,000 over the 5 months. And you might be thinking, well, 1% a day, 20% a month, is that really doable? Over on the right-hand side, here's a testimonial. This is one of my coaches. He's been in the business 4 years. Many of you know him. I'm not going to mention his name here, but, you know, Sandy, you know him. His weekly, this was last week, his weekly gain wasn't 20% a month. It was 25% a week. His actually monthly return for that month was 257%. We're talking about 1% daily, 20% monthly. He's already up at 257%. He's been in it 4 years. So again, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. Don't forget that. This is something that this is not easy, but it's simple. Always remember that. This is simple, but it's not easy. This is not overnight. This is going to take practice. This is going to take effort. This is going to take consistency, and this is going to take commitment. Okay? But these results are going to blow your mind. Imagine what his account is. I know what it is when he's earning this kind of thing. If 1%, 20% a month, 1% a day can get you 66,000, imagine not 20% a month, but 10 times that is going to get you. Okay, so that's why I'm excited about these. Okay, but what we're going to do now is we're going to dial it right back. So you might think, well, even 1% is too much for me. So let's dial it back a third from that. So literally, where you started off looking at 1 to 3% a day, we dialed it back to 1%. That's a third of 3. Now let's dial it back to 1/3 of that, 1/3 of 1%. And I'll show you how we make over $10,000 in 5 months, just going on a third, and why that's important. So again, thecalculatorsite.com, daily compounding. We put our $25,000 in. We put 1/3 of a percent in. We're doing 5 months. We're doing it for 5 days here. And what happens at the end of 5 months, this next one here, we have $10,919. That's dialing it way back. Okay, so this is why all I'm trying to show you is that I'm using small numbers here, and I'm dialing it back even from the small numbers. So hopefully it will help your belief level. I don't want to be throwing out these massive numbers that I know people are doing, because your belief at this level, because you're starting on this journey, might not be up there when you've been doing this for 6 months, 12 months, and you can actually see the results that you can get. Then your belief level will start soaring. But when you're new to this, I like to dial it way back to keep the expectations low, to keep them more reasonable. And you can see here, when I break it down daily, we're literally talking about $80, $84 a day when you start off with. Rises as it goes up, because obviously we're compounding it. It's $97 a day. But even at the end, right at the end here, when we're down to 10,000 here, it's only just under $120 a day. You can literally do that on a $25,000 account. That's one trade. Okay, it's not that hard to do. And on a larger account, if you're making half or a third of % a day, this is the kind of results you're going to get. You're going to be a 5-figure trader within 5 months. And I'll just throw this into just to give you an idea. 25,000, we go back to our 1% interest. And you can see here, this is very important. To be successful at anything, the biggest thing you need to be is consistent. I'm going to show you why that in a minute as well. So here we go, 25,000, same 25,000, 1% interest was what we started off before. And we go to 7 months, 5 days trading. Look at that, 113. You're now a 6-figure trader if you can just make 1% a day consistently for 7 months, starting with how much? $200. Don't forget that. $200. Okay? That's why this call is so important, so you can really see the value of this strategy. Okay, so things you need to master. Obviously, I've shown you that I showed you the figures first so you could get excited at the potential and the possibilities that trading with the academy gives you, because of all the mentors, because of the coaching, because of the teaching, because of the mindset. Everything that we do here is designed to turn you into a profitable trader. There's a nice journey of a trader visual there. But what you want to do, what you need to realize, that psychology side is so important. And the reason, one of the reasons being, is when you go from a demo account to a live or a funded trader account, something shifts up here, because whether you've put in $200 on a funded trader account or 500 or 1,000 in a live account, now you're talking about real money. Now you see the possibility. Now you know that errors are going to be magnified, but wins are going to be magnified too. So it puts a different level of stress, a different level of perception on top of your psychology of trading, not your ability to trade, not the mechanics of trading. The mechanics of trading do not change. If you're using impulse, the entry signals are exactly the same, whether you're trading $1,000 account or $100,000 account. All the trading, the scanners, the signals, the indicators are exactly the same, whether you're trading 1,000, 10,000 or 100,000. What changes is your psychology. And what happens actually as you get into the bigger accounts, it's for another training here, we train you not to think when you're placing trades, when it's small trades like that, we're always thinking in dollar values. When you get up to the bigger trades, we have to shift that to percentages, because the dollar values start blowing your mind and you get even more nervous. Okay? Consistency is the most important thing. Consistency means being consistent trading. If you're trading 5 days a week, 3 days a week, 7 days a week, be consistent in that. Be consistent in trading your plan, how you meant to trade your plan. Be consistency in what trades you're going to take and what trades you're not going to take. Consistency is the same with everything. You know, if you're working out, you can't go to the gym one day, come back, go next week, maybe skip a week or two. You're not going to see any results. Same with dieting. You can't eat salads one day and then go out and eat fish and chips the next day. It's not going to work. Or burger and fries. It's not going to work. Okay, so consistency in anything. Relationships, everybody knows relationships. If you're not consistent in those, in your habits, in passion, in anything, you're not going to be successful. Okay, and here's the example I want you to really listen to what I'm saying here, what consistency means. We go back, you've seen this before, we're on daily compounding, we're on dollar, we got 25,000 here in the first box on the left. We're doing a 1% interest rate. I'm doing it for the year to show you what this means. And we're not going to do all days a week, but we're going to do 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Doesn't matter what days. I'm just doing 5 days a week. When we hit calculate, at the end of 12 months, your value will be in your account will be over $300,000. Okay. What have I done here? I've done nothing different than what I've just told you. 25,000, same amount. 1% a day, same amount. 5 days a week, same amount of time. I haven't changed anything. All I'm doing is showing you, before we showed you what happens in 5 months, then what happens in 7 months. Now I'm showing you what happens in 12 months, but there's a kicker at the end. In 12 months, I'm going to have over $335,000 projection for 12 months. Let's do the same calculation. 25,000, 1%, 12 months. But let's say we only trade 3 days a week. We only trade Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Look at what we get after 12 months. Just under $120,000. The only difference between 120,000 and 335, obviously, the only difference being that this is nearly 3 times as much as this is, but the only difference is I skipped 2 days of trading. Do you understand now how consistency is important? It doesn't mean you have to trade 5 days a week. This is just to show you. If you can only trade 3 days a week, what I'm telling you is trade 3 days a week. Don't drop down every now and again to 2 days a week or 1 day a week. Okay? If you're trading 3 days, stay consistent. You're trading 4 days, stay consistent. 5, 6, 7 days, stay consistent. That's the message. Okay? The commitment and belief, a lot of that will come from listening to people like me and Jim and other coaches and mentors, Brandon Boyd, Josh Lee, people who've done that, people who have the accounts, people that have what you're looking for. Get in those rooms where people reside, get on the Zooms, get on the Go Lives especially, and listen to how people are doing. Tap into these professionals who are already on the journey that you want to be in. Okay. You've got to commit to learning these skills. You've got to set that time aside. Even when you're tired, if you've got kids and you've got to get them to bed, you've got to set some time aside after the kids are in bed to go and do this. You've got to get time before the work day starts or the school day starts. If you normally get up at 6 with the kids, get up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock. So that commitment is there. What's going to help you with the commitment is not just looking at a talking head like me, or being around people. That's vitally important. But what's going to happen is decide why you're going to do this. You know, a lot of us in this business have had wake-up calls. We've had wake-up calls with health. We've had wake-up calls with our job. We've been laid off. We've had hours cut. When COVID hit, you know what happened to the economy. So we've had, economic wake-ups. We've had, you've heard of all the big crashes we've had. We had the real estate crash, 2008, 2009. We had financial crashes. We've had stock market crashes. We had the dot-com crash. We've had a lot of these crashes. They will always come along. Always. It's just a pattern. Everything happens. Even now, we're still not sure we're not heading into a recession, even with the Fed's cutting rates. They're trying to do what they call a soft landing, which means they're trying to stop us going into a recession. There's no guarantee we will. There's a war boiling over in the Middle East. We've got a war going on in Ukraine and Russia. We've got elections coming up in November. There's a lot of stuff that things could blow up overnight in a matter of minutes. And I'm, my dad had a stroke. He wasn't planning that. My mum had a stroke. She wasn't planning that. My brother-in-law got cancer, esophageal cancer, had half his insides taken out. He wasn't planning that. Okay? These things we don't plan for. We can plan for the good things, but we've got to always keep in mind that bad things can happen. People get laid off all the time. You get laid off and you can't find another job. What happens as you get older, it's harder and harder to find a job. You have to create your own job. Believe me, I'm old. I know no one's going to hire me for a job. They'd rather hire a 20-something-year-old to do the same thing that I would do for half the money. That's the reality. Okay. So put it in your mind, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for a second income? Are you doing it to give you insurance against something bad happening? Are you doing it because you want to be able to do something that is not stressful, you can do in your own home, sitting in your pajamas at the kitchen table? You don't have to go out there and hustle. You don't have to go out there, break your back. If you're in Arizona in the summer, you're not out there if you're doing something outdoors at 120-degree heat. If you want to be able to do this somewhere else, I'm in real estate. If I leave Phoenix, I can't practice real estate somewhere else because I don't know the area. But with trading, when I went to London, I took my calculator with me. I could trade. When I was in Scotland, I had my not my calculator, my computer, my laptop. I traded. When I was in Portugal for 6 months, I was trading. When I was in Tulum, Mexico, I was trading. That's just this year. When I'm in Savannah, Georgia, later on, I'll be trading. Okay. So think of why you want to do that, and that will give you more belief and more commitment to be able to be consistent in trading. Doesn't matter what the strategy is. There's lots of strategies here. We've got Dynamic Edge, which I use. We got Impulse, which I use. We got Swipe Coins. We got Swipe Options. We got Blaze. Whatever tools we use within the academy, they are all good. Just get good at using the tool that works for you. In my mind, Impulse is the simplest, easiest way to move forward with trading. It's just a matter of blues and reds, blues and reds, blues for buys, reds for sells, blues for buys, reds for sells. That's all it is. Okay. That's the end of the presentation. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to, if you want to follow me on YouTube, it's youtube.com/John Oliver AZ. There's lots of John Olivers there, so make sure it's John Oliver AZ. Follow me on Instagram. It's John O Entrepreneur. John O for Oliver, obviously. John O Entrepreneur. And I'm going to stop the recording now, and we are going to go into question and answer.